All right, today we're jumping into an absolutely timeless short story by the one and only Munshi Premchand. It's called The Sermon, and it asks a question that's as relevant now as it ever was. What does serving others really mean? Is it about giving big speeches and having a bunch of fancy titles, or is it something quieter? Let's dive in.
Wow, powerful stuff, right? These are the words of our main character, Pundit Dev Ratna Sharma. He's this highly respected intellectual, famous for giving these incredible fiery speeches to young people. And this quote, it's him in a nutshell. Bold, patriotic, full of big ideas about being a hero. But here's the thing. There's a massive gap between talking the talk and walking the walk.
So let's really dig in. Who is this Pundit Sharma? Well, he's basically built his whole identity around the idea of service. You could almost call him a performative patriot. It's all about the reputation. So let's peel back the layers and see who the man behind the myth really is. Okay, just look at this list. The guy's got more titles than you can shake a stick at. And get this, he famously turned down a big government job. And for that, everyone celebrated him as this incredibly selfless hero. But what does he actually do all day? He reads, he writes articles, he gives speeches. He's the secretary, the president, the founder, a patriot on paper, a hero by title. But as for his actions, well, that's a whole other story.
And this right here, this just says it all. Sharma is all textbook, zero real-world experience. He could give you a 2-hour lecture on super advanced farming techniques from Holland, but he owns an entire village just outside the city and has never even met the people who actually work his land. That huge disconnect between what he knows from books and what he does in real life, well, that's going to be a huge deal.
So talk is cheap, right? What happens when a real crisis hits? When all the speeches are over and it's actually time to step up? Let's see how our famous patriot deals with it when his ideals get put to the ultimate test. And just like that, things get very real. A deadly plague, a literal plague, sweeps through the city. The wealthy, they pack up and get out of there. But the poor, who have nowhere to go, they're trapped and just left to die. This is it. This is the moment for a hero to rise, a leader to take charge. This is Sharma's chance to prove he's the real deal.
Or maybe not. See, as a big shot in the Social Service League, he's expected to lead the relief efforts. So what does he do? He gives another one of his classic fiery speeches about duty to his students, and then he comes up with this super convenient excuse. Oh, I'd love to help, but there's a mysterious illness in the villages I must attend to. Right, a noble-sounding reason to get the heck out of the city.
But he doesn't quite get away with it. He's at the train station, about to make his escape, when he bumps into this lawyer. And this lawyer, man, he is not buying it for a second. He calls him out right to his face, pointing out that there's no plague in the villages, he's just a coward running for his life. Ouch. For a guy like Sharma, whose whole life is built on his reputation, this is just devastating. The mask is completely ripped off.
Okay, so let's follow Sharma to this village where he's hiding out. This is where his world of books and fancy ideas is about to slam right into the hard, messy truth of real life. And it's also where he's about to meet someone who couldn't be more different from him. Meet Lala Babulal. And just look at the difference here. Sharma's the big-shot academic, the famous patriot who's never actually there. Babulal? He's a simple clerk. Nobody's ever heard of him. But he's the one who's actually on the ground, managing his part of the village himself. It's the perfect contrast, The talker versus the doer.
And you can literally see the difference it makes. When Sharma walks through his part of the village, it's a mess. It's filthy, it stinks, and the people there, they avoid him. They're scared of him. But then he crosses over to Babulal's section, and it's like a different world. It's clean, it's orderly. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. One guy left things to his corrupt staff, and the other one actually showed up.
And it goes way deeper than just cleanliness. It's about how people are treated. On Sharma's land, his managers are basically bullies, forcing people to work for free and threatening them for rent. But on Babulal's land, the tenants bring him the rent themselves, willingly, because they trust him. It all comes down to this. Babulal built relationships. Sharma's people built a system of fear.
So there's Sharma, holed up in his nice little bungalow, surrounded by his books, just trying to ignore the world outside. But you can't ignore reality forever, can you? It's about to come crashing in, and let me tell you, it's going to give him a lesson that is not in any of his textbooks. So picture this. Sharma's up on his roof one night, reading, when suddenly he hears this commotion, a noise that just doesn't belong. Something's wrong.
He looks down, and his own courtyard is pure chaos. Police are dragging his tenants, his people, and hurting them like animals. There's yelling, there's fear, and it's all happening right on his doorstep.
And then he hears the inspector's voice, just booming, demanding money from the terrified villagers. It's a classic shakedown. And when they can't pay, he hears a sickening slap, a cry for help. And suddenly, this isn't some abstract problem he can write an article about. This is real. This is happening right now.
And you are not going to believe who this corrupt inspector is. It's one of Sharma's old students. The irony is just, wow. And the guy just lays it all out for him, super casually. Oh, bribery. Everyone does it. If you're a cop and you're not taking bribes, you're an idiot. It's like this twisted, real-world sermon, and all those heroic speeches Sharma gave this kid clearly meant nothing.
And that's it. That is the breaking point. Hearing that cynicism, seeing that violence, something inside Sharma just snaps. All that intellectual anger he usually pours into his writing, it just boils over into actual, physical action. For the first time, he doesn't think, he acts. He storms down there, kicks out the cops, and fires his own slimy manager on the spot.
So after all that, Sharma is just completely shaken. He's humbled. He realizes all his books, all his fancy degrees, they've taught him absolutely nothing about how to actually help people. So what does he do? He seeks out the one person who seems to have it figured out, the simple clerk, Lala Babulal. And Babulal's whole philosophy, it's so simple, it's brilliant. It's not some complicated theory. It's just, number one, be there, show up. Number two, build trust by helping people when they're in trouble, and do it with kindness. And three, be fair. Don't try to profit off their hardship. That's it. It's not about big speeches. It's about small, consistent acts of kindness.
And this is when you realize the genius of the story's title, the sermon. The real sermon here isn't that loud, patriotic speech Sharma gave at the very beginning. Nope. The real sermon was Babulal's quiet life. It was a lesson taught without a single word, just through action and compassion. That's the sermon that actually matters.
And the story closes with this just incredible moment of transformation. The proud pundit Sharma, the man with 1,000 titles, goes to the humble clerk, Babulal, and says, "Teach me. Make me your student." He finally gets it. A meaningful life isn't found in books or applause. It's found in genuine service. He's finally ready to learn how to truly live.
So this story, it's kind of like a mirror, isn't it? It makes us ask ourselves a pretty tough question. Are our actions aligned with our words? Are we all talk, like Sharma was at the beginning, full of good intentions and fine speeches? Or are we quietly doing the work like Babulal? It's definitely something to think about.
And that's a wrap on this one. What a story, right? If you got something out of our deep dive today, do me a favor and hit that like button, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for hanging out with me.